Alors, bienvenue tout le monde à cette séance du conseil municipal de Mont-Royal d'octobre. Welcome to this October public meeting of Town Council. Peut-être juste commencer en saluant. I would like to salute Farid Tannous, President of the Municipal Association. Bonsoir Farid, merci d'être là. Et le commandant Sawalia, est-ce que je l'ai bien dit? Sawalia, notre nouveau commandant du poste du PDQ 24 qui est avec nous. Alors, bienvenue avec nous ce soir. Peut-être deux petites nouvelles. So first of all, I would like just to congratulate all the candidates at the last election, federal election. We had 5 or 6, I don't remember how many in our writing. I would like to congratulate all of them, and I'm sure all members of council are joining me on that. And well, particulièrement, je voudrais saluer Anthony Osfader, qui va être notre nouveau député. Alors, on s'attend à avoir une bonne relation avec lui, puis de travailler sur beaucoup de dossiers. Parlant de dossiers qui concernent le fédéral, on vient tout juste d'apprendre que Post Canada vient d'annoncer qu'ils annulaient temporairement, à tout moins, de continuer la pause de la suspension de la livraison du courrier. So we just learned that Post Canada will stop their decision of stopping the mail delivery at house. So I think this is a very good news for our community, and we're quite happy about it. Alors voilà, nous sommes maintenant au point 2, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour, et je vais proposer tout de suite l'ajout d'un nouveau point à l'ordre du jour, qui va être le point 9.1. So a new topic on the agenda, 9.1, regarding our demolition committee. Alors ça va s'appeler le comité d'études de demande de permis de démolition. Alors avec cet ajout, je vais céder la parole à Joseph Daoura.
Alors je propose d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du conseil du 26 octobre 2015.
Et c'est appuyé par Mme Mindy Amlati. Je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Point 3, so we're on point number 3, question period. Your question needs to be related. This first question period needs to be related to our agenda. Alors, nous sommes à la période de questions du public. Parfait. On passe au point 4, qui est les adoptions des procès-verbaux des 2 dernières réunions, donc celle du 21 septembre et du 19 octobre. Joseph Daoura.
Whereas copies of the minutes of the Town of TMR Council regular meeting of September 21st, 2015 and October 19, 2015 have been delivered to each member of council within the time prescribed by the law, I move to adopt the minutes of the TMR Council regular meeting of September 21st, 2015 and of October 19, 2015.
J'appuie la résolution.
Merci, je demande le vote. Merci, adopté. Point 5, le dépôt des documents. Alors, le premier document qui est déposé, c'est le rapport financier, le rapport de la situation financière de la ville. So, by law, I need to read this document to you. It's the financial statement of the town. So, it goes like this. Dear fellow citizen, in conformity with Section 474.1 of the City and Town Act, and on behalf of Town Council, I am pleased to submit to you this report on the financial position of TMR. The report must be made at least 4 weeks before the budget is tabled and must situate the current fiscal year in the context of the preceding and coming fiscal year. Donc, c'est avec plaisir que je vous soumets ce rapport, conformément à la loi. Il va évidemment traiter de 2014, 2015, 2016. Alors, je ne souhaite pas m'éterniser sur le rapport financier de 2014, puisque j'ai déjà fait cette présentation au printemps dernier. Rappelons néanmoins que l'exercice financier 2014 avait des revenus de 84,5 millions et s'est conclu avec un surplus financier de 7,5 millions, ce surplus s'expliquait essentiellement par une importante transaction immobilière du secteur commercial. On parle évidemment du centre Rockland, qui a rapporté à elle seule 4,1 millions en droits de mutation. Elle s'expliquait aussi par une économie de 1,2 million qui a été réalisée sur la rémunération globale, les charges sociales et les avantages sociaux, notamment en raison des postes vacants non comblés dans un certain délai. Quant à l'excédent accumulé pour l'année 2014, il totalise 21,8 millions. Donc, il y a 21,8 millions de dollars dans les surplus de la Ville. Et enfin, la dette à long terme, au 31 décembre 2014, s'établissait de son côté à 26,9 millions de dollars. So, 2014 was obviously a good year for the town finances. Let me just remind you that the 2014 operating revenue were of $84.5 million, and that we finished the 2014 fiscal year with a surplus of $7.5 million, mostly due to the sale of the Rockland Center and by a $1.2 million saving in overall remuneration, mandatory employee cost, and employee benefit. Finally, as of December 31st, 2014, the accumulated surplus financial reserve and earmark fund total $21.8 million, and the town long-term debt totaled $26.9 million. This was 2014. Now with 2015. The 2015 budget project operating revenue of $83.6 million, with operating expense of $84.9 million and appropriation from financial reserve of $1.3 million. Based on the information available to us today, we foresee a budget surplus of $3.3 million. Alors, le budget de 2015 prévoit des revenus de fonctionnement de 83,6 millions de dollars et des dépenses de fonctionnement de 84,9 millions. À la lumière des renseignements dont nous disposons aujourd'hui, nous prévoyons pour l'année 2015 un surplus de 3,3 millions de dollars. Nous sommes également heureux de vous annoncer les réalisations dans les domaines suivants. We are pleased to inform you of the accomplishment in the following area during the last year. First of all, implementing the Emerald Ash Borer Response Plan. This initiative helped protect ash tree and limit environmental impact that could weaken the entire urban forest of TMR. Ensuite, on a eu la consultation sur le patrimoine et l'urbanisme qui a permis d'identifier où se situent les menaces et les opportunités auxquelles fait face Mont-Royal quant à la préservation et au développement futur de son patrimoine urbanistique. Rappelons qu'à la suite de cette consultation, 18 orientations ont été retenues et elles répondent à diverses préoccupations exprimées par les Monterois et les Monteroises, notamment quant à la protection du couvert végétal de la Cité-Jardin, à la menace des maisons surdimensionnées, à une gestion plus stricte des demandes de démolition et à une transparence accrue des décisions du CCU. Updating the urban plan in order to plan for and support the revitalization of part of the town's industrial sector. Modification des règlements municipaux régissant les démolitions et le CCU. Adoption of a new pet welfare policy, la nouvelle politique animalière. Création de la commission du conseil sur l'environnement. Distribution of tree as part of Earth Day in April. Aménagement d'un nouveau parc canin le long du chemin Dunkirk entre les avenues Montgomery et Glencoe. Construction of a new, je l'ai déjà dit, a new dog run alongside Dunkirk Road between Montgomery and Glencoe. Inauguration d'une première murale urbaine suite aux efforts de notre conseil municipal. Inauguration of a magnificent Carrara marble sculpture titled L'Harmonie and donated by the artist himself, Townie Peter Monk. The sculpture is displayed at the original Dawson Library. Maintenant, 2016. Maintenant, pour le budget 2016, le budget de fonctionnement de 2016 et le programme triennal d'immobilisation 2016-2017-2018 seront adoptés par le conseil municipal en décembre prochain. Dans le cadre de l'élaboration des prévisions budgétaires de 2016, il est prévu d'une part, de maintenir le niveau et la qualité des services au Mont-Royal, de maintenir les taxes foncières à un niveau acceptable et de prévoir un programme triennal d'immobilisation équilibré, satisfaisant aux attentes des résidents et permettant de préserver nos infrastructures. D'autre part, il est également prévu de maintenir une gestion rigoureuse et responsable des dépenses. So we are now working on the 2016 budget that will be adopted at the December Town Council meeting. In developing the 2016 budget estimate, we have planned to maintain the level of quality of the services provided to Townie, to maintain property tax at an acceptable level, and to implement a balanced 3-year capital expenditure program that meet residents' expectation and ensure our infrastructure will be preserved. We have also planned to maintain discipline and responsible control over spending. Accordingly, the proposed 2016 proposed action and budget guidelines are 2. And I have a list. Alors, j'ai la liste des orientations budgétaires pour l'année 2016. So first of all, limit the increase in property tax. 2. Contrôler la hausse des dépenses de fonctionnement sans dépasser le taux d'inflation. Plan for the holding of a summit on culture in TMR. Quatrièmement, poursuivre l'implantation ou la croissance des projets environnementaux, entre autres la collecte de résidus de table, la protection de la forêt urbaine, l'achat de véhicules hybrides, l'aménagement de parcs et le verdissement de la ville. 5. Examine opportunity for returning the snow melter to services. As you maybe know, it's closed. It's been closed for years, so we're now looking at the possibility of opening it in the next year. Sixièmement, revoir l'utilisation et l'aménagement du parc Connaught. Septièmement, finish the review of our urban planning bylaw. Huitièmement, mise en place d'un service interne dans la ville pour consolider l'organisation et l'administration contractuelle. Neuvièmement, mieux communiquer avec les résidents, notamment en augmentant le nombre de parutions de l'info VMR. Et dixièmement, reduce the debt by preparing part of the long-term loan during the 2016 refinancing. Et finalement, promouvoir le projet de raccordement du boulevard Cavendish, continuer enfin à en faire la promotion. On sait que l'administration Coder est en faveur. On sait que l'administration Coder a créé un comité qui travaille et on sait que l'administration Coder veut le faire. Mais on sait tous, ça fait des décennies qu'on en entend parler. Alors, on va continuer à mettre beaucoup de pression pour voir enfin ce projet-là se réaliser. En ce qui a trait au PTI, au programme triennal d'immobilisation à venir, la priorité est donnée aux travaux de remise à niveau et de modernisation des infrastructures de la ville que nous voulons sécuritaires, fiables, de qualité, adaptées à nos besoins. Les travaux de réfection du pont Rockland ont débuté en 2015, vous le savez tous, pour ceux qui passent là. La première phase des travaux consistait à renforcer les colonnes, solidifier des glissières latérales en béton et réparer les mains courantes en acier, afin de maintenir l'intégrité du viaduc. Les travaux se poursuivront en 2016 et 2017 et nécessiteront des investissements majeurs de notre part. L'administration municipale a toutefois déjà réservé 4,5 millions dans nos réserves des surplus de la ville pour financer une partie du projet pour lequel l'obligation financière est estimée à environ 11 millions. In addition, we consider it essential to renovate and expand the chalet of the municipal outdoor pool in order to modernize the building and expand and upgrade the changing rooms, restroom, and administrative office spaces. Although this renovation project was slated to begin in the winter of 2015, in order to ensure its successful completion, the work has been postponed until the beginning of 2016. The plan and specification have been prepared and the call for tender for the construction and renovation work are in progress. Voilà. Nous comptons également rénover le bâtiment public du 40 Roosevelt, also known as PDQ 24, notre ancien PDQ 24. Nous souhaitons le rénover afin d'y accueillir les services techniques et le génie de la ville dans le but d'offrir un meilleur service aux Mont-Royal désirant obtenir des informations sur toutes les informations municipales. Les plans et devis sont pratiquement terminés. Les travaux devraient débuter aussi au printemps 2016. Ceux-ci seront financés par voie de dette. Another major project for 2016 is the construction of a sport center. This new complex would include an indoor pool, multi-purpose spaces, and room for various local sport associations. My colleague and I are convinced that the town needs a new modern infrastructure that is better adapted to the town residents' need and will allow various physical activities to take place simultaneously. Donc ça, je vais le dire aussi en français, parce que c'est un projet phare de notre administration. Donc le gros projet 2016, c'est toujours notre souhait de construire le centre sportif. Ce nouveau complexe permettrait la création d'un pôle récréatif majeur à Ville Mont-Royal, comprenant notamment une piscine intérieure, un gymnase, des salles multifonctionnelles et des locaux pour les diverses associations locales. Nous sommes convaincus que la Ville doit se doter d'une nouvelle infrastructure sportive moderne, mieux adaptée aux besoins des citoyens et permettant la pratique simultanée des nombreuses activités physiques. Ce projet est au cœur de nos réflexions et nous multiplions nos démarches auprès des divers paliers gouvernementaux pour obtenir des subventions. Et nous croyons fermement être en mesure de prendre une décision finale sur le dossier au début de l'année 2016. We also want to review the use and layout of Connaught Park in order to revitalize the space and make an even greater number of activities available to citizens in this park. Enfin, nous continuons naturellement à investir des sommes importantes pour la réfection du réseau routier, des aqueducs et des égouts. Donc, à l'égard de tout ce qui précède, dès qu'il est question du programme triennal d'immobilisation, il faut comprendre que nos infrastructures prennent de l'âge et qu'il importe d'assurer leur pérennité pour continuer de répondre aux exigences des Monterois et Monteroises. Ces travaux, assurément très coûteux, auront toutefois des impacts positifs sur notre communauté. We are aware that these major investments will have an impact on the town's debt. That is why, in addition to contracting new debt, we are always careful to allocate part of the surpluses from previous year to the funding for major capital projects. This makes it possible to ensure a fair sharing of the tax burden among generations and to moderate the debt load. Les prévisions budgétaires pour 2016 et le programme d'immobilisation de 2016, 2017 et 2018 vous seront présentés lors d'une séance extraordinaire prévue lors de l'adoption du budget. La Ville publiera dans le Journal de Mont-Royal un avis public indiquant la date et le lieu de cette assemblée. Conclusion. With openness and discernment, the town continues to be true to its past while remaining oriented toward the future. In this respect, Mont-Royal's standards remain high but realistic. This year, as every other year, we must not only consider resident current need, but also, if we are to grow better together, anticipate their future need. All our projects are based on this general objective, which constitute a guarantee of the distinctive quality of life we enjoy in Mont-Royal. Donc, avec ouverture et discernement, la Ville continue de respecter son passé, tout en gardant son regard tourné vers l'avenir. À cet égard, les standards de Mont-Royal demeurent élevés mais réfléchis. Il importe, cette année comme dans toutes les autres années, de considérer à la fois les besoins actuels des résidents, mais aussi d'anticiper leurs évolutions, question de mieux grandir ensemble. Tous nos projets gravitent autour de cet objectif général que constitue la protection d'une qualité de vie distincte, telle que nous la connaissons à Ville-Mont-Royal. Il s'agit de bâtir en continu, en temps réel, notre cité-jardin et d'en assurer la pérennité. Merci. Alors, ça étant dit, on passe au dépôt des autres documents et je vais céder la parole à Alexandre Verdier.
Donc, nous déposons ce soir le rapport des états comparatifs, la liste des commandes pour le mois de septembre de moins de 5 000 $, ainsi que celle de moins de 25 000 $, la liste des achats, la liste des chèques, un rapport du service des ressources humaines et la liste des permis et certificats.
Merci beaucoup. Point 6, ça s'appelle « Hommage au conseiller John Miller ». So the next topic is tribute to Councillor John D. Miller. As you may know, John Miller is celebrating this month his 20 years on council. Alors, 20 ans au conseil. Alors, on a une petite résolution en son honneur, alors, qui se lit comme suit. Whereas, as Mr. John D. Miller, councillor from District 4, began his sixth term mandate as a member of Town of Mont-Royal Council in the fall of 2013 and was first elected in 1991. Attendu que ce natif de Mont-Royal a pris part dès l'adolescence à l'évolution de notre ville, notamment à titre d'entraîneur auprès de différentes équipes sportives locales. Whereas his marked interest in municipal affairs and his natural leadership skills subsequently led him to head the Mont-Royal Municipal Association, where he took his first steps into the world of politics. Attendu que depuis son élection en 1991, il a chapeauté de nombreux dossiers tels que les finances municipales, les travaux publics et les loisirs. Whereas he played an active role in the town's demerger and reconstitution process as co-chair of the Diffusion Mont-Royal Citizen Group. Attendu qu'il a également contribué au succès des différentes festivités soulignant le 100e anniversaire de Mont-Royal en 2012 et que son engagement envers la communauté se poursuit à tous les jours. I move to offer to Mr. John D. Miller from Town Council and on behalf of the residents of TMR our warmest congratulations on the occasion of his 20 years of active life in municipal politics.
I just want to say that it's been a great run, but if it wasn't for the residents of Town of Mont-Royal re-electing me 6 times, I wouldn't be here. But when we look at politics, I go back to the late 1950s when Victor Pod was running, and I worked on Victor Pod's re-election campaign, and then Jack McConnell after that in the 60s. So it's my family has lived here since 1935, and I really feel this is a part of my life. In the town, most residents, I think, really want what's best for the town. And with many residents, we may disagree on issues, and that's quite acceptable to me, but I think if we think about it, we're all trying to do what we really think is best for the town of Mont-Royal. Thank you very much.
Alors, la résolution est appuyée
Yes, with great pleasure.
par Mme Kennedy. Alors, je demande le vote. Je comprends que M. Miller vote pour ou contre. Oui. C'est ça, là. Parfait, merci beaucoup. Point suivant, le point 7, le Town Council Project Mural, Mme Mindy Amleti.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. I move to authorize the payment of an amount of $36,805, tax included, to the Mule organization for the creation of the mural at 1757 Graham Boulevard.
Et j'appuie.
Parfait, je demande le vote. Adopté. Point suivant, les nominations au sein du CCU. Mme Kennedy.
Yes, so this has to do with the appointed members to the CCU, professionals especially. La date de fermeture de l'affichage pour la poste professionnelle était le 11 septembre 2015. Il y avait plusieurs candidatures qui ont été reçues et parmi ceux qui étaient reçus, le comité de sélection recommande de nommer M. Luc Trudeau, architecte, comme membre au sein de CCU pour une période de 2 ans. M. Marc-Antoine Larose, architecte, comme membre au sein de CCU pour une période de 2 ans. M. Maxime Frappier, architecte, comme membre au CCU pour une période de 1 an. Et Mme Carmen Dioya, architecte, comme membre au sein de CCU pour une période d'1 an. Alors, je propose de Nommé conformément au règlement numéro 1434 sur le comité consultatif d'urbanisme, c'est Jean si mentionné, et de mettre fin au mandat comme si mentionné, et recevant une rémunération de 400 $ par réunion à laquelle ils assisteront. Et de mettre fin à voilà. Alors, je pense que je vous ai déjà mentionné combien d'ans pour chacun des membres.
Mhm.
Merci beaucoup.
J'appuie.
Appuyé par M. Miller. Je demande le vote. Merci. Adopté. Point suivant, M. Daniel Robert.
Yes, this has to do with the appointment of council members on the Planning Advisory Committee. We just did the citizens, which were the architects. So I move that we appoint Councillor Heron Kennedy as council member and chairman of the Planning Advisory Committee for 24 months, and also to appoint Mayor Philippe Roy as acting council member and acting chairman of the Planning Advisory Committee for 24 months, the whole as per dispositions of the Planning Advisory Committee bylaw number 1434.
Merci. C'est appuyé par?
C'est moi.
Appuyé par M. Miller. Je demande le vote. Merci. Point 9.1, donc le point qu'on a ajouté au début de à l'agenda. Alors, Mme Kennedy.
Oui, alors c'est à propos de la nomination des membres du conseil au comité d'études des demandes de permis de démolition. I move to appoint Councillor Joseph Daoura as chairman and Councillors Daniel Robert and John Miller as members of the Demolition Review Committee for 12 months.
Ouais, on a peut-être oublié de mentionner ça. Ce point-là a été mis à l'ordre du jour parce que M. Dumont a démissionné du comité de démolition. Il s'est retiré donc comme membre du comité de démolition. Alors, il fallait nommer une nouvelle personne et on en a profité pour renouveler le mandat des autres qui devait se terminer le mois prochain. Alors, de façon à ne faire qu'une seule résolution, on l'a tout fait aujourd'hui. Donc, c'est suite au départ de M. Dumont qu'on fait ça aujourd'hui. Voilà.
J'appuie la résolution.
Parfait, je demande le vote.
Ben, on est d'accord avec notre nomination. Oui.
Parfait. C'est adopté. So we've doing this just before we've received last week a letter from Louis Dumont saying that he wanted to quit from the demolition committee. So we need now to name someone else. And all the members, their mandate was going to finish next month. So we've decided to name someone else instead of in the place of Louis Dumont. And in the same time, we've decided to renew the mandate of the two other members who were there. So we have now three new board of our demolition committee. Voilà. Le point suivant, le point 10, c'est Joseph?
Non,
Moi.
c'est John.
C'est John. Sorry, John.
Wait. The 3-year mandate for our external auditors terminates on the 19th of November. And so we will have to, effective that day or effective very quickly, appoint a new internal auditors. The current mandate was for 3 years. The new mandate will be for 5 years. And how we pick the auditors, we put in a point evaluation system where we can go through and assess who we feel would be the best. It's not necessarily just on price. We do look at the price, that's very important, but we also take a look at the other qualifications. For instance, whether they've been involved in municipal fields or whether they haven't. So this resolution is to go ahead and say that we want to appoint people on this committee and we want to put this evaluation system into effect. So, attendant que la Ville utilisera un système de pondération d'évaluation des affaires dans le cadre de mandate des services professionnels de vérification externe, I approve the bid weighting and evaluation system for professional external audit services attached herein and appoint Ava Couch, Nathalie Riom, and Jude Bordage as members of this committee.
J'appuie.
Merci beaucoup. Je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Accepté. So we're now at topic number 11, confirmation of disbursement. Mr. Miller.
And so, je propose de confirmer d'approuver les débours visant la période du 1er septembre au 30 septembre 2015. So we have salaries and fringe benefits of $2,164,855. Suppliers, $1,240,061. Financing costs of $47,921 for a total of $3,452,837. And currently we have in the bank $28,687,301, earning 0.95%.
J'appuie.
Merci, je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Point 12, remboursement des dépenses. Bon, John Miller a été invité cette semaine, la semaine passée, last week. Last week. Il a été invité par notre député Pierre Arcan. Et Pierre Arcan lui a rendu un hommage à l'Assemblée nationale à Québec. Alors, inévitablement, John est allé recevoir cet hommage-là à Québec. Et donc, le point suivant, c'est pour rembourser les dépenses pour son petit voyage à Québec. Et je vais demander à Mme Kennedy.
So I move to reimburse Councillor John Miller the sum of $268.65 for expenses incurred during a trip to the National Assembly in Quebec City to celebrate his 20 years in politics.
Bon, j'appuie.
Parfait. Comme là, il est question d'argent, je vais laisser...
I will be abstaining from this vote because there is a conflict of interest here.
So we're not asking you to vote. Alors, je demande le vote pour les autres. Merci beaucoup. Alors, si ceux que ça intéresse, c'est sur le site de l'Assemblée nationale. Si vous allez... It was on Wednesday?
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Alors, si vous allez sur le site de l'Assemblée nationale mardi, juste au début de la période de questions, il y a un petit mot.
It was really an honor. My wife and I, Betty, and you have to understand, when you're in politics, your spouse is so important to be on side because you cannot do this without their support. And so Betty and I went up to the National Assembly, and the tribute was done in the Blue Room, which is just before the question period for the day started. And Pierre Arcan gave a wonderful tribute. I'm really truthfully grateful. There was 4 or 5 other people there in other specialties. You had a geologist, for instance, who had done certain things, but it wasn't just politicians. There were different people from different parts of society in Quebec, and I was personally quite moved to think that they would do this, and I really thank Pierre for his tribute.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce qu'on a fait le vote? Oui, parfait. Merci. Le point suivant, le plan d'action 2015 à l'égard des personnes handicapées. Madame Minziam Leti.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. I move to approve the action plan for 2015 concerning handicapped persons, to authorize the town manager or the town clerk to sign on behalf of the town all documents required to bring the action into force, and to transmit the copy of the documents to the Office des personnes handicapées du Québec.
J'appuie.
Merci, je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. So we're now in the contractual matters of the agenda, and winter is coming. You will see in the next contract that they're all regarding the winter that is coming toward us. Pour des raisons de rapidité, on va regrouper les votes des 4 prochains points qui concernent tous des achats concernant l'hiver. Alors, les points 14, 15, 16, 17, on va les regrouper et ne faire qu'un seul vote, et je laisse M. Miller nous les présenter.
Okay. Do you want to do all the vote together?
Yeah, the four first.
14, or there's 5 of them, eh?
5?
5 or 4.
Let's do 14 to 17.
14, 17, okay. Okay, 14. This was for the supply and delivery of one light-duty vehicle. The lowest bidder, we had 3 bids. The lowest bidder proposed to sell us a vehicle which did not meet our requirements, so we accepted the second lowest bidder. So, je propose d'autoriser une dépense de 43 655 $ pour le fourniture et livraison d'une camionnette à cabine 4x2, moteur à essence, avec boîte de 8 pieds, and to award LaSalle Ford Inc. the contract for this purpose for the lump sum price of $42,128.32, and to accept the trade-in offer from LaSalle Ford Inc. for the vehicle 605 for the amount of $1,155. The next one is the rental of 3 front-end loaders. Last year we rented, this is for options on them. Last year we rented 3 loaders for 1 year with 2 additional 1-year options. We're authorizing the first 1-year option. So, je propose d'autoriser une dépense de 13 305 $ en 2015 pour la location de 3 chargeurs sur roue pour le déblayement et enlèvement de neige de 1er décembre 2015 jusqu'au 31 décembre 2015, and to authorize also an expense for the amount of $39,905 in 2016 for the rental of 3 front-end loaders for the snow clearing and removal from January 1st, 2016 to March 31st, 2016. To award to Equipment SMS Inc. the contract to undertake these works with the monthly prices submitted up to $53,210 for the period between December 1st, 2015 and March 31st, 2016, and to authorize the town manager to undertake the work associated with this contract. 16. This is for the hourly rental of 1 bulldozer with operator for snow dumps. 3 bids received, with the 2 higher ones not conforming. So tonight we're accepting the lowest one which did conform. So I authorize an expense for the amount of $8,760 in 2015 for the rental of a bulldozer with operator for the snow dumps from November 15th, 2015 to December 31st, 2015, and to authorize an expense in the amount of $19,753.80 in 2016 for the rental of the bulldozer with operator, and to award 3024407 Canada Inc., FASRS Enterprise Variant, 1994, the contract for the amount of $28,513.80. And 17 is the rental of 2 two-wheel loaders. 7 contractors picked up bids, but only 2 submitted. Both conformed, but the higher one failed to include in his bid that the equipment would come with snow clearing equipment. So we went still with the lowest bid. So I authorize an expense for the amount of $35,243 in 2015 for the rental of 2 two-wheel loaders with operator equipment with snow removal from November 15th, 2015 to December 31st, 2015, and to authorize an expense in the amount of $68,237 in 2016 for these loaders for the period from January 1st, 2016 to April 15th, 2016, and to award Les Entreprises Canbec Construction, Inc. the contract for the amount of $103,477.70.
Parfait. On va regrouper les points 14, 15, 16 et 17 pour le vote. Alors, est-ce que j'ai quelqu'un qui seconde?
J'appuie les items 14, 15, 16 et 17.
Parfait. Je demande le vote. Merci. C'est adopté. Nous sommes maintenant au point 18. Alors, on continue avec
18, 19.
la section contractuelle et on va regrouper, we'll regroup 18, 19 and 20.
Yeah. 20?
19.
Only 18, 19.
18 and 19. Yeah.
Okay. 18 is to do with de-icing salt, and what we do is participate with Montreal in calling for a contract for this, because the larger the group, or the more salt we use, the better price we can get. This year the price is slightly lower than last year, but keep in mind that the total cost is dependent upon the weather. If we get a lot of rain and sleet and ice, well, then we have to use more. If we have a very little snow this winter, very little ice, then the price, it wouldn't cost us as much. But the estimated cost for this winter is about $389,000. So I propose to award Mines Céline une division de KES Cell Windsor Limited the contract for the supply and delivery of street de-icing in Mont-Royal for the period from November 1st, 2015 to April 30th, 2016 at the unit price submitted of $75.15 per metric ton plus tax. The 19 is to buy options that go with 2 snow removal blowers that we purchased in September. And the options allow things like an extended warranty and increased security options. And we bought 3 of them in September, but only 1 of them had the option. So what we're doing on this particular resolution is just including those options on the second 2 blowers. So, je propose d'autoriser une dépense de $24 029, 78 cents pour la fourniture et l'installation des options pour les garanties prolongées et le système de sécurité AMI4 pour 2 nouvelles souffleuses à neige, and to award J.A. Leroux, Inc., the contract to undertake these works for the lump sum of $24,029.78.
Parfait.
Yes.
Oui,
I
sur
second.
les points 18 et 19.
Yes, I second resolution 18 and 19.
Merci. Je demande le vote. Merci. Adopté. Le point 20 maintenant, Maître Daoura.
Alors, ça c'est concernant le renouvellement du contrat pour la préparation et l'entretien des patinoires extérieures de la ville. Alors, depuis plus de 20 ans, la ville de Mont-Royal utilise les services des compagnies externes spécialisées pour réaliser la préparation et l'entretien des patinoires extérieures. Un appel d'offres public et électronique a été fait le 14 octobre 2014 et le contrat a été octroyé à la compagnie Technipark qui a déjà fait affaire avec la ville. Et dans ce cadre de ce contrat, l'entrepreneur doit fournir toute la main-d'œuvre et les équipements nécessaires pour procéder à la préparation et à l'entretien des patinoires extérieures, le tout conformément aux documents d'appel d'offres. La ville est satisfaite des services reçus à ce jour par cette entreprise et elle propose donc l'option de renouvellement pour l'année 2015-2016 avec cette compagnie qui est Technipark Inc. Alors dans ce cadre-là, la résolution va être de la sorte. I move to authorize an expense for the amount of $13,907.01 in 2015 to execute the contract for the preparation and maintenance of the outdoor rinks, which includes all accessory costs, and to authorize an expense for the amount of $40,444.93 cents in the year 2016 to execute the contract for the preparation and maintenance of the outdoor rings, which include all accessory costs, and to award to the company Technipark the contract renewal to undertake this work for the unit and lump sum price submitted up to the amount of $54,251.94 for the period between December 7, 2015 and March 13, 2016.
Nice. I move to accept, yes.
Merci, Mme Kennedy. Je demande le vote. Merci. Point suivant, le point 21. Maître Robert.
So this topic might not be the most glamorous of tonight, but it sure is important to make sure that we replace the sewer manholes when they need to be replaced. Dans le cas qui nous intéresse, un contrat avait été accordé au mois de juin, si je ne me trompe pas, 2015, pour effectivement la restauration de deux regards d'égout importants, un sur Rockland, l'autre sur Vivian. Et les travaux se sont avérés plus coûteux que prévu. Alors, l'entrepreneur a adressé une demande de rémunération additionnelle qui a été acceptée par l'administration municipale. Le contrat prévoyait déjà ce qu'on appelle des contingences, donc un coussin, mais le coussin n'a pas été suffisant et nous devons donc ce soir consacrer une somme supplémentaire de 2 939,39 $ pour le paiement des travaux. So I move to authorize a budget transfer of $2,939.39 from project 2093 to the one that deals with remplacement des regards d'égout.
J'appuie.
Merci. Appuyé par M. Miller. Je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Le point 22. Concernant un raccordement d'égout et d'eau sur chemin Bates, Daniel Robert.
Yes, when in this case it's a new condo that was built on Bates Road, they need, of course, to have water connected to the water system, and in this case, the town is asked to do the work, goes out and finds a contractor. That was done prior, and the particular point here is that whatever amount we spend is reimbursed by the promoter. So it's an even cost thing. But still, in this case, once again, there was a slight running a cost. Par voie de conséquence, je recommande ou je suggère d'autoriser une dépense supplémentaire de 3 600 $ pour le projet des nouveaux accordements d'égouts au 131 chemin Bates, à la compagnie des entreprises DF Wimet Inc.
Merci. C'est appuyé par
J'appuie.
M. Miller. Je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Le point suivant, le point 23, la rénovation du chalet de la piscine municipale. Daniel Robert.
Oui, excusez-moi. At last, a glamorous project. Now, we've all heard about the municipal pool chalet having to be renovated. We've already awarded a contract for professional services to the architect firm. Now we are down to getting a contractor to do the work. And I'm very happy to report that, as it was mentioned by the mayor, the project was delayed few months, but I guess this turned out to be to the advantage of the town, since at this time of the year, I guess the project launching in the municipalities is going down, so more and more companies are interested in sending in a tender. In this case, 16 contractors got the tender documents, and 15 filed for the tender. So we're very happy to report that we would recommend, of course, to give the contract to the lowest bidder. Dans ce cas-ci, excusez. Il s'agit d'autoriser une dépense donc qui s'avérera de 1 159 600 $. Alors, excusez-moi, 1 159 600 $ pour la rénovation du chalet de la piscine aux 1000, comprenant tous les frais accessoires. Alors, le maire, dans son rapport plus tôt, vous a indiqué quels étaient les éléments qui feraient l'objet d'une rénovation. Alors, je ne me reprendrai pas le texte en question. Et je recommande donc d'autoriser l'adjudication de ce contrat à Construction Gen 4 Inc., qui est, encore une fois, le plus bas soumissionnaire.
J'appuie.
Merci. Je demande le vote. Merci. Est-ce que c'est correct s'il parle? Oui. Régis Côté. Tu veux-tu aussi parler de Régis Côté?
Yes, and of course, there's a second part to this resolution, which is to award to Régis Côté and Associates the professional services mandate for the project follow-up and work supervision to this end for the lump sum price of $19,200.83 in accordance with the tendering documents. You might recall that Régis Côté and Associates had been awarded a contract to prepare all the contractual documents, plans, and what have you. So now it's the supervision of the work.
Merci beaucoup. Donc, appuyé par M. Miller. Et je demande le vote sur tout ça. Merci. Alors, pour les gens qui fréquentent la piscine municipale, je pense que tout le monde va s'entendre que c'était un besoin qu'on avait. Les vestiaires, l'accueil, les bureaux administratifs de la piscine nous rappelaient une certaine époque. Pas toujours pour les bonnes raisons. Alors, je pense qu'il était très, très souhaitable qu'on revoie ça. Donc, ça va être plus grand. Ça va être mis aux normes 2015. Ça va être plus beau, plus propre. Alors, c'était un projet qui était dû depuis longtemps et on est content que si tout va bien, ça va être fait, réglé, livré avant la saison piscine 2016. Donc, les travaux devraient démarrer dès que l'hiver est terminé en mars et on nous assure que le tout va être prêt pour l'ouverture en juin. Alors, c'est une très bonne nouvelle. Point 24, Mme Letty.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. As you may know, our current Unitrend backup of our virtual machine server infrastructure are running out of the space. And so we need to upgrade the appliances to ensure that we have enough storage space to back up the TMR server infrastructure. And so a call for the tender was launched on the September 18, 2015. And I moved to award to the lowest compliant bidder, the company CDW Canada Corporation, the contract for that purpose for the price submitted of the $59,737.10, owned in accordance with the tender documents, and to authorize an expense of the $39,737.10, tax included, for the acquisition of Unitrend's automatic backup system, which included as needed on the accessory cost.
Merci. C'est appuyé par?
Moi, j'appuie.
Merci, Joseph. Je demande le vote. Adopté. Alors maintenant, nous passons à la section urbanisme. So we're now in the urban planning section of the agenda. And I'm going to ask Madame Kennedy, who chaired the CCU committee.
All right, we have had two meetings, September the 25th and October the 9th. So I move to approve from the September 25th meeting. Plan number 1, Carré Lucerne, for commercial signs, wall-mounted, and identification. Plan numéro 2, 5405 Paris, pour modification de permis émis, ouverture de la porte d'entrée, déjà construit. Plan numéro 5, 454 Algonquin, pour agrandissement d'un étage sur la cour arrière. Plan number 6, 2318 Lucerne, for wall-mounted commercial sign, suggestion, the word beauté to be in black. Plan number 7, 2234 Kildare, for modification to the issued permit, enlarge the wooden balcony plan. Plan number 10, 1376 Dumfries for resubmission, modifying the roof's colors, aluminum, and stone finishes. Plan numéro 12A, 5076 Walpole pour modification des ouvertures. Plan numéro 13, 332 Berwick pour modification de permis, marge latérale pour un agrandissement arrière et rénovation extérieure. C'est approuvé, mais sous réserve. Le retrait de 4 pouces est approuvé. Il faut le figurer sur le plan. Insérer de revêtement dans la partie supérieure du pignon. Plan numéro 16, 5910 Côte-de-l'Est pour agrandissement. Plan number 17, 455 Algonquin for one-story addition to the backyard, subject to the side transition to be added and must submit materials and stone pattern for final approval. Suggest having a glass insert in the small new wall facing the front. Plan number 20, 35 Beverly for changing the exterior siding of the rear veranda. Plan number 21, 117 Lazard for a pergola and wooden deck. Plan number 22, 1275 Dunkirk for renovations, cafe terrace, 3 seasons. And from the October 9th meeting to approve the following plans. Plan number 1, 116 Morrison for deck. Plan numéro 2, 1309 jusqu'à 1315 Kenora pour modification en façade approuvée, ouverture et détail. Plan numéro 4, 153 Thornton pour terrasse. Plan numéro 6, 4296 Côte-de-l'Est pour enseigne commerciale appliquée, déjà installée. Plan numéro 8, 435 Beverly pour balcon en bois. Plan number 9, 455 Algonquin for one-story rear addition. This approval is only if built at 0 inches to the mitoyen line. If built at the minimum 4-foot setback or more, they must resubmit to the CCU. Plan number 1058 Palmerston for front renovations and a one-story rear addition, brick sample and color, simplify the upper railing detail. Plan number 11, 74 Simcoe for one-story rear addition. Plan number 14, 4360 Côte-de-l'Est for a wall-mounted sign. Plan numéro 15, 420 Lazard pour modification au fini extérieur, nouvelle pierre Saint-Marc et déclin longboard. Option, les panneaux de longboard dans les pignons et sous réserve de coupe de pierre, pas de pierre en relief et les modulations doivent être similaires aux existantes. Les fenêtres au-dessus du garage doivent représenter les mêmes meneaux horizontaux que ceux de la nouvelle porte de garage. Plan number 17, 3697 Jean Talon for signage on new canopy. Plan number 18, 475 Oakdale for concrete balcony already built. Plan number 19, 460 Revere for one-story rear addition. Note to architect, the rear elevation does not show the 4-inch return nor the existing stone corner detail that must remain. Plan numéro 20, 130 Kenaston pour resubmission, plan modifié pour un agrandissement latéral et échantillon, briques et aluminium. Plan numéro 23, 110 Wixty pour modification apportée au plan approuvé, escalier extérieur en béton et changer les ouvertures de fenêtres à l'étage. Plan number 27, 1380 Dunvegan for addition, modified plans. Plan number 28, 2145 Hanover for enlarging the vestibule and interior and exterior renovations, finishes, and openings. And from the September 25th meeting to refuse the following plans. Plan number 4, 1755 Laird for modification to the approved plan, omission of canopies railing. Refused for the following reasons. As far as the front canopy is concerned, addition previously is approved. Maintain the comments. Given the choice between new proposal and existing, the committee prefers the existing. But given the choice, CCU prefers previous option with railing. The proposed canopy was beefed up so that a railing was not required, but becomes too heavy. Plan numéro 11, 345 Beverly pour modification de fini extérieur. Enlever le brick pour le remplacer par de la pierre lisse et remplacer le déclin en aluminium par le crépi. C'est refusé et pour les raisons suivantes. Le calcaire ne s'intègre pas à la pierre existante. Ce n'est pas le matériau approprié. Il est suggéré de conserver un matériau plus léger aux étages supérieurs entre les fenêtres. Plan numéro 19 de 275 Melbourne pour agrandissement et modification des finis extérieurs. C'est refusé pour les raisons suivantes. S'inspirer du concept d'origine et de PIIA pour les maisons de demi-niveau. Garder deux matériaux tels à l'origine. Plan number 23, 2340 Graham for turning a bungalow style to a cottage style home. Refused for the following reasons. The design is not a successful integration within the existing urban streetscape. Looks like a duplex insertion. The original interventions with just a roof renovation were much more successful. Committee maintains comments that the second floor to this house must be more integrated into the roof volume on all elevations and not just faking on the front facade. Plan number 25, 1600 Kenilworth for new brick, Bowerston Shale Company, Red Series number 130, modulars. Refused for the following reasons. Maintain the previous comments. The new brick proposed, its color is good, and getting it produced to the existing modulation of 2 feet a quarter inch and 11 feet 5/8 inch, but the texture and finish is too rustic for this modern home. Plan numéro 26, 1345 Claire pour resubmission pour modification de la façade, matériaux et style architectural. Refusé pour les raisons suivantes. Le PIIA stipule que des modifications sur un bâtiment de faible valeur architecturale peuvent être considérables à condition qu'il respecte les critères de l'un des styles architecturaux dominants dans le secteur où est situé l'immeuble. Ceci étant établi, les trois maisons les plus modernes sur le rond-point sont des maisons traditionnelles avec des éléments modernes. Bien que modernes, les rénovations proposées à la façade moderne omettent certains éléments traditionnels nécessaires à l'intégration avec les maisons voisines, comme symétrie, intérêt central pour l'entrée et la volumétrie globale de la construction. And from the October 9th meeting to refuse the following plans. Plan number 3, 515 Rockland for resubmission, modification to the facade, project the soffit by 3 feet frontage. Refused for the following reasons. The proposed roof is not harmonious nor in keeping with the house design. This design is too modern for the home, inspired with the original metal canopy, simplicity but using modern material. Plan number 5, 775 Plymouth for modification to the approved plans, finish around the balconies. Refused for the following reasons. The changes to the balcony, wall design, and finish changes completely the original approved design. Facade facing the street must be glazing and lighter material. Plan numéro 7, 355 Dobie pour agrandissement arrière et ajout d'une lucarne à la façade avant. Refusé pour des raisons suivantes. La lucarne avant n'est pas conforme au règlement. L'agrandissement arrière est trop massif et trahit le concept d'un demi-niveau. Le toit plat ne s'intègre pas à la maison existante. Plan numéro 16, 1561 Dunvegan pour agrandissement à l'arrière et au-dessus du garage. Refusé pour les raisons suivantes. La maison existante conduit à une direction moderne. L'architecte devrait dessiner en s'inspirant des plans originaux. Plan number 21, 546 Inverness for facades renovation, changing aluminum siding to acrylic, work done together with semi-detached neighbor. Refused for the following reasons. With all the addition added to the semi-detached unit, removal of siding and return to stucco creates a very long volume without any detailing. And plan number 22A, 544 Inverness for the facades renovation, changing the aluminum siding to acrylic. This is the neighbor. Refused for the following reasons, and for the same reasons as above. With all the addition added to the semi-detached unit, removal of the siding creates a very long volume without any detailing. Plan number 22B, 544 Inverness for modifications to the approved plans, window openings, addition to the second floor above the rear addition. It's refused for the following reasons. It's too piecemeal and patchwork. For needs but with no integration to the existing volumes. Rear elevation joint is not right as per plan and pop out and impact on semi-detached neighbor. Plan number 24, 444 Strathcona's, per modification to the plans modifying the canopy, refused for the following reasons. The approved canopy integrated more with the home and was more charming. Et plan numéro 31, 603 Stansted pour modification en permis émis, forme de la toiture sur la partie agrandie. Refusé pour les raisons suivantes. Ça doit respecter le plan approuvé.
J'appuie.
Je demande le vote. Merci, adopté. Merci beaucoup, Aaron. Nous sommes maintenant aux 3 autres points dans cette section-là concernant des dérogations mineures. À chacun des points, je vous rappelle que les gens dans la salle peuvent venir poser des questions sur ce dossier-là. Madame Kennedy, le point 26.
So number 26 has to do with the owner at 1280 Sherwood presently completing his landscaping on the corner of his property. Permit was issued for the wood deck and plans have been submitted for a pool and fence installation. But due to the open lane at the rear of the property, the configuration of the property and the location of existing mechanical equipment, the installation of a pool and fence is very challenging. The owner has requested permission to install the fence that would be fronting Sherwood to be in line with the building facade instead of being set back the 1 meter behind the facade in accordance with our bylaw. It would be noted, of course, that the 6-foot cedar hedge that's existing would hide the fence, and so the fence would not be visible. So I move to accept under minor variance bylaw number 1312 to legalize the installation of the fence within the side setbacks or in the side yard in line with the front wall of the building instead of being erected 1 meter back behind the facade on Sherwood Crescent.
Merci. C'est appuyé par?
J'appuie.
Mme Letty. Donc, avant de demander le vote, si quelqu'un souhaite poser une question. Parfait. Donc, je demande le vote sur cette dérogation mineure. Merci beaucoup. La suivante, point 27, Mme Kennedy.
This is for 65 Palmerston. At the time of construction in 1978, the minimum building side setbacks required 1.98 meters on each side. However, the building was built with the left side setback at 1.81 meters, encroaching 0.56 meters. So I move to legalize that encroachment under minor variance bylaw number 1312.
J'appuie.
Appuyé par Mme Letty. Est-ce que quelqu'un veut poser une question concernant cette dérogation mineure? Non. Alors, je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. La troisième dérogation mineure concernant le 207 Simcoe, Mme Kennedy.
And this is an encroachment of 0.2 meters for a house that was built in 1970, for a side addition, that was built in 1976. So I move to accept under bylaw 1312 to legalize this left side setback of the building located at 207 Simcoe at 1.78 meters.
J'appuie.
Merci. Toujours pas de questions concernant ce dossier-là. Je demande le vote. Attendez un petit instant. Good evening, Mr. London.
Good evening. It's arisen in the past that there was once a variation that was several meters, and I asked the question, is there a maximum under which minor variations come in? Has that maximum ever been defined?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
There is no maximum. A minor variance, it's called a minor variance, and it is to correct a construction of an error or a deviance from the bylaw at the time of construction. And so normally a maximum variance, if it was, let's say, 10 feet or something, it would have been noted most probably at the time. But this is things of like, it's 10 centimeters, 5 centimeters, whatever, where a lot of it comes from the accuracy of measurements that happen today because the equipment is much more accurate. Some of it comes from the cadastral reform that happened in the early 2000, like around 2003, where some properties, the property lines shifted a little bit due to the overall Quebec cadastral reform, and that's why some of these things are coming out. But it's a matter of, 5 centimeters or something. So there is no maximum. It is it's council's discretion to accept or not accept what the variance is.
May I suggest that I think a maximum should be set, because when it's 1-2 meters, nobody's worried about it. But if it's going to be 10 meters, I think we should be worried.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'd recommend that.
10 meters is approximately 30 feet. The majority of the lots in TMR are 50 feet wide. So 10 meters, you'd be building halfway into the neighbor's living room.
I recognize that. I'm just saying there should be a maximum.
Thank you. Donc, je demande le vote sur ce point. Merci beaucoup. Et le dernier point pour le 275 Melbourne, Mme Kennedy.
So this is to legalize an encroachment of 0.67 meters. So I move to accept under that same bylaw number 1312 to legalize the right side setback of the building located at 275 Melbourne Avenue to 1.92 meters.
J'appuie.
Merci. Pas de commentaires, pas de questions. Alors, on vote. Merci beaucoup. Adopté. Point 30, nous sommes maintenant à la section réglementation. Point 30, concernant l'adoption du règlement concernant le déneigement. Mr. Miller.
Right. We have, for residential properties, we have a bylaw regarding snow removal. And what we're doing this year is making 3 changes, which we are implementing here tonight. The first one is the definition of a snow removal contractor. Most of us think of the snow removal contractor as somebody who's in a truck with a snow plow moving snow, but we're getting more and more people with small snow blowers who drive along the street, and under the bylaw they're really not defined as a contractor, and we're putting them, we want to include them as a contractor, as they're being paid just like the people, whether you have a truck or whatever, they're being paid to do the job. So that's number one. Second of all, the distance of the identification poles from the sidewalk. Currently, you'll notice that contractors put their poles almost right on the sidewalk. And under the bylaw, we're going to say the distance of these poles from the sidewalks has to be 2 meters. So that means a little over 6 feet. It has to be at least 6 feet back from the sidewalk, which I think is a good thing. And the last thing is that we require that the signs go up by middle of October. And we're changing that to the middle of November, backing it off so we don't have those things sitting there for, I guess no matter how long they are, it's too long, but to make sure they're not there as long as they were. So, whereas every member of council in attendance at the present sitting has stated, having read the bylaw and waives its reading, I move to adopt in accordance with Section 356 of the Cities and Towns Act, bylaw number 1432-1 to amend bylaw 1432 on snow removal.
J'appuie la résolution.
Merci, je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Point 31. Daniel Robert.
Oui, l'article 31 traite d'une modification au règlement sur la salubrité, la sécurité, la paix et l'ordre, donc un règlement très, très englobant, pour mettre fin à une situation un peu particulière. Depuis quelque temps, dans les parcs de la ville, on voit des personnes ressemblant à de véritables prospecteurs, utilisant des détecteurs de métal, semble-t-il, pour la recherche probablement de bijoux ou je ne sais quoi. Le problème, c'est qu'à chaque fois qu'ils détectent ou croient détecter un objet métallique, Ils utilisent habituellement une pelle pour creuser, pour aller chercher le bien en question. Alors évidemment, la situation est déplorable et il a été décidé qu'il y avait lieu de clarifier le règlement pour défendre les pratiques des fouilleurs de parcs. Alors, le règlement ici s'applique évidemment sur la propriété publique et non pas sur la propriété privée. Si vous voulez passer le détecteur chez vous, gênez-vous pas. Mais dans les parcs et les terrains publics de la ville, l'activité sera dorénavant défendue. Ou du moins, c'est l'avis de motion que je donne qu'à une prochaine rencontre du conseil, le règlement en question sera modifié dans ce sens.
Merci beaucoup. Ça, c'était le point 32. Non, c'est le point 31. Nous sommes maintenant au point 32. Daniel Robert encore.
Yeah, this deals with changes to the rules that apply to the selective collection of les matières secondaires récupérables. So, as you may know, we had a pilot program in the town in which kitchen and table scraps, were to be collected and put into the green bin and composted. This is brought forward because, amongst other things, le gouvernement du Québec has decided, and is very right about it, that we should do everything to reduce the amount of residue or what have you that is sent to the filling quarters and these places where they're put on the ground. As we're rapidly getting out of enough, we don't have any more places to put them, so better compost them, of course. And this program is going to be extended, and this year the east side of TMR is going to get these bins for the period after which we don't collect the green garden scraps. It ends around November, if I'm not mistaken. Depending on the weather. And we will need another small bin, which will be a brown bin, which will be made available to people that want to go along with the program. So, certain numbers of dispositions from within our bylaw had to be modified, and I'm giving tonight notice a motion that at the next meeting I will come forward and bring these modifications to the order of the day.
Merci beaucoup. Maintenant, le point 33 concernant l'agglomération. So we had two the agglo meetings since last town council here. One was regarding the budget and the PTE that Ms. Mayor Coder and his team table. That was last week. And 3 weeks before, we had our regular agglo meeting. Lors de cette rencontre-là, le seul point peut-être qui est intéressant à noter, on oublie des fois que l'agglomération, c'est le service de police, c'est les pompiers, c'est la STM, mais c'est aussi beaucoup d'autres choses, et notamment les grands parcs. On a sur l'île de Montréal une douzaine de grands parcs. Évidemment, on pense toujours au parc du Mont-Royal, mais on pense à Cap-Saint-Jacques, mais il y en a plein d'autres. Et Montréal s'est donné, il y a plusieurs années, sous l'administration Tremblay, un objectif d'atteindre le 10% de territoire protégé sur l'île par ces grands parcs-là. Et l'administration Coder a lancé le signal qu'ils voulaient, eux, l'atteindre rapidement. Et on a procédé à l'achat de terrain à Beaconsfield lors du dernier conseil d'agglo. Angelwood, donc le bois Angelwood, qui est depuis longtemps un bois qui a été acheté en fait par des intérêts privés pour du développement résidentiel, et la ville de Beaconsfield essayait sans succès depuis des années de bloquer le développement. Finalement, l'agglomération s'en est mêlée et on a réussi donc à faire geler le zonage. Donc, dorénavant, c'est zoné vert. Et on a même réussi, donc, le mois dernier, à acheter un des 3 terrains en question pour le joindre au fameux parc Angelwood, qui fera éventuellement faire partie du parc Lance-à-l'Orme. Donc, c'est un beau pas. Des fois, on est au conseil d'agglo et on se demande un peu ce qu'on fait là. Lorsqu'il arrive des dossiers comme ça, c'est toujours, même si ça ne touche pas spécifiquement Ville-Mont-Royal, on se dit toujours qu'on travaille dans le bon sens. Alors, c'était une des choses qu'on a fait au dernier conseil. Il y en a un cette semaine. Je ne serai malheureusement pas présent à ce conseil, alors je vais demander à M. Miller, comme maire suppléant, de représenter Mont-Royal lors de ce conseil-là. Alors, on va passer au point 33, point 34, pardon, qui est le mandat des orientations pour M. Miller. Joseph.
Whereas the mayor must set out the position that he intends to take on the matters on the agenda of the October 29, 2015 regular sitting of the Urban Agglomeration Council, I move to authorize the mayor or his representative to attend the October 29, 2015 Agglomeration Council regular meeting and as all special meetings pertaining to budget in order to make any decision he deems appropriate in the best interest of the town of Mont-Royal.
J'appuie.
Merci, je demande le vote. Merci beaucoup. Nous sommes maintenant au point 35. This is Varia. I'm going to start with Mr. Miller.
2 things. Daylight saving time ends on Sunday, November 1st at 2 a.m. Turn your clocks back 1 hour. One thing I was thinking, Philip and Ava, the flu clinic. Have we got something down for the flu clinic?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You've got it, okay. The second thing is, carnet d'information pour les personnes âgées. Mardi le 10 novembre, 9h à 18h, Sécurité publique sera sur place afin de compléter les carnets d'information pour les personnes âgées. Le carnet contains a photo of the individual, a list of the medicines, and a telephone number in case of emergency. So this is something I think we've had with the kids, and we've seen their fingerprints and things. But also, when you think, and I see we have quite a few seniors in the town of Mount Royal, I think this is really a good thing for a senior to have, just in case they pass out in the street or whatever. So this is the 10th of November between 9 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night.
Where is it?
At the security office.
Merci, Mme Letty.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le maire. Bonsoir. J'ai 2 items que j'aime bien vous présenter. Le premier, c'est les comme vous le savez, Matnight et Halloween se tiendront le 30 et 31 octobre. Et nous aurons une patrouille supplémentaire de sécurité publique pour assurer la sécurité des citoyennes et les enfants. And the second thing is the vaccination clinic. Thank you, John, to remind me. The flu vaccine will be administered free of charge on the Tuesday, November 10, from 9 to 6:30 p.m. at the town hall in the Scottsfield Hall. Simplify, show up with your Medicare card. If you would like to have more information, the phone number is 514-734-2928. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Daniel.
Yes. Bon, alors d'abord, parler des résultats de la collecte des résidus dangereux. 19 avril et 12 septembre. Nous avons récupéré 6 000 kg de matières dangereuses en 2015. Il s'agit d'une baisse de 16 % par rapport à 2014, mais pour l'instant, on n'en connaît pas vraiment les raisons. Toutefois, il semble que les gens ont peut-être pris l'habitude d'aller porter directement leurs produits dangereux à l'écocentre. Par voie de conséquence, lors de ces activités-là, il y a moins de gens qui ont des résidus dangereux dont ils doivent disposer. Alors, on voit la baisse donc comme quelque chose de positif jusqu'à nouvel ordre. Merci à tous les Mont-Royal qui ont pris la peine de ne pas jeter leurs ordures, dans leurs ordures ménagères de tels produits. Et je rappelle qu'il est important que des produits tels que la peinture, les pesticides, les piles usagées et les ampoules fluorocompactes de plus en plus utilisées soient correctement remises effectivement ou disposées au niveau de l'éco-centre. Second item is the results from the distribution of compost, which took place on October 10 and 11. Now, 139 citizens turned out to get the compost versus 124, so we have an increase here. And 14 tons of compost were given, which is about 100 kilograms per citizen that came up, which is comparable to what was given out last year, as 12.5 tons of compost then was distributed. So we find that to be a great success and look forward again next year to do it again. Il y a la collecte des feuilles mortes. Vous avez probablement déjà vu les camions commencer à se promener avec les aspirateurs. Alors, en principe, selon les conditions météorologiques prévalentes, l'activité devrait continuer jusqu'à peu près au 18 novembre prochain. Alors, je rappelle que seules les piles de feuilles en vrac sont ramassées. Ne mettez pas de branches à l'intérieur, ceci empêche le système de fonctionner. Et puis, encore une fois, la méthode la plus efficace de se débarrasser, entre guillemets, des matières végétales de cette nature-là est à utiliser d'abord le bac vert que la Ville met à votre disposition et qui simplifie beaucoup le travail au niveau du ramassage. There's also a last item I wanted to bring up, and this is the fact that apart from being given a nod at the Assemblée nationale and elsewhere, as a matter of fact, this summer at the annual meeting of l'Union des municipalités du Québec, our friend Mr. Miller was honored, and according to the exceptional character, was one of the few individuals that was saluted as being or given a solid support to the municipalities, and especially his municipality through all these years. So I just wanted to add that to the long list of people and an organization that wanted to underline this great achievement. Thank you.
Merci. Joseph?
Oui. Donc, la première annonce concernant les résultats de la foire multiculturelle qui a eu lieu le 26 septembre. Alors, il y a eu plus de 3000 personnes qui ont participé à cette fête. Et à cette même fin de semaine, en septembre, à la bibliothèque, les Journées de la culture ont attiré plusieurs participants qui sont venus voir les artistes de drame et assister à une présentation sur la fabrication des marionnettes. Donc, c'était un grand succès. La deuxième annonce, c'est concernant les results of the Telefox run. It was on Sunday, September 20. Over 300 residents participated, and they collected $12,000 was raised during the day, and $20,000 as a total for the Telefox Foundation. La troisième annonce, c'est concernant la collecte des résidus alimentaires. Les trousses de départ ainsi que les bacs sur roues de 45 litres sont déjà distribués dans 1500 foyers du secteur est de la ville d'ici la fin du mois de novembre. Alors nous encourageons ces résidents dans cette zone à participer à cette nouvelle collecte pour faire du compost et contribuer ainsi à diminuer les tonnes d'ordures qui sont enfouies à chaque année. Et la dernière annonce, l'honorable annonce, je dirais, the Remembrance Day ceremony will be held on Sunday, November 8, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Peace Park in front of the town. And we hope many of you will join us in paying tribute to Canadians who gave their lives for peace, liberty and democracy. Merci.
Merci. Madame Kennedy.
A couple of other things coming up in November. November 6th through to the 8th, Tram will be having their annual art show. They'll be open beginning 10 o'clock each one of those mornings. On the 6th, they'll be finishing at 9 o'clock in the evening. The 7th and 8th, they'll be finished at 5. And later on in the month, the craft fair will be taking place between November the 27th through to the 29th here in Schofield Hall. And of course, it's free, so come on by. There you go.
Merci beaucoup. Alors, cela met fin au conseil. Nous sommes maintenant à votre période, aux questions du public. Alors, simplement, vous nommez, donnez votre adresse, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Ann Streeter, 1302 Kenilworth.
Good evening.
Hi. I have a question about 1290 Caledonia that's been in the process of being renovated for 3 years. And the owner, which is the builder, parks all his major equipment, gigantic trucks, front-end loaders, day and night they're parked. And I spoke to another builder, and he said that's illegal. So I was just wondering what the policy is. These are humongous big trucks, front-end loaders, the whole works, 1290 Caledonia.
During the work, everywhere, we're always lenient to let people park because they're working on a property, so we allow them work. Now, you say day and night, so overnight the equipment
Overnight, the
is
equipment is
street?
parked there because I
On the
understand
street?
on the property.
Oh,
On the property.
That's, you know,
Well,
the
I mean, it's
property-
very unpleasant for neighbors, you know, it's an eyesore
property
as
is
well.
now pretty much landscaped. When I drove past on
But
Friday, it was all landscaped.
it's landscape, but there's an opening there, big trucks on both sides, and they're parked there overnight, plus 2 or 3 little front-end loaders.
Yeah.
So
Generally, it's
I
like
wondered, is there no policy on that?
we let people park on, you know, while they're doing the work, they leave the equipment there for the work. We'll check to see what is being left. Very
Because
often
I've
it's-
not seen this anywhere else. The owner is a builder. He works on 2 or 3 properties once, I understand, and this is where he parks his equipment.
You're not supposed to park it elsewhere as a storage.
But that's what he's
something.
doing.
But so you're saying it's for storage?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
we'll check.
We'll,
Okay,
we'll do a
thank you.
follow-up.
Eh?
We'll do a follow-up.
Okay, quickly, the proposed new sports center. What is the projected cost of that? And are you expecting money from Quebec or the feds?
Well, the project cost only for the complex is 25, and we always said that if we do the complex, we'll renovate the actual rec. So we're talking about a 28-30 million project. That's
Ooh.
the idea.
And are you expecting some federal help?
We asked for money from the Quebec government. We're waiting for an answer from them by the end of fall, they say. So
And-
in a month from now, we should have an answer.
Okay, and what about the federal government?
No, there's no program from the federal. Well,
Okay.
maybe we will have a new one
well,
with the new
actually-
government, but
Yeah.
so far there's no one.
Well, actually, you've heard me comment on this before, that TMR is a wealthy town, and there's something a little bit obscene about asking for large sums of money from a government that needs it for health care, poor people and so forth.
Yeah,
So that's
well,
just a comment. It
It's a
bothers me.
specific program for sport infrastructure in Quebec.
Okay, thank you.
Roman Boyko, 55 Strathcona.
Good evening.
In your report, the financial report, I believe you mentioned that there was a savings of about $1.2 million regarding remuneration and this charge social.
In 2014, yes.
2014?
Yeah.
Is that due to a reduction as compared to the year 2013, or is that a reduction compared to the budget that was prepared?
It's compared to the budget, because it's compared to the budget that we had budgeted so much, an annual budget of, let's say, $80 million, and
I
we
understand.
had a savings.
So
we came
your budget
yes.
was higher by 1.2 million versus the actual.
The budget was
for
higher than the
2014.
actual.
And what was it for 2013?
I don't know it off by heart. What was the actual budget for remuneration?
What was
you
the
wanna
budget
know?
overstated as compared to the actual for
Well,
2013?
we'll have
It's
to
not
get
a-
the money.
It's not an overstating. It's some of the revenues come in higher than what we
No,
had.
we're not talking revenues, we're talking remuneration.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I just asked you, if it was remuneration. You were
Remuneration,
asking me the question.
remuneration and the charge sociale.
In 2013, I couldn't tell you just like
Okay.
this. I'll have to look it up.
And look it up, and you'll probably see that the budget was also higher than the actual. So my point is that to call it a savings when it's consistently done every year,
yeah.
it's not a savings. It
But
just
some-
means your budget is over budgeted.
No,
Well-
it's because there's positions that are not filled.
Ava, the budget was 1.2 million higher than the actual for 2014.
That's what we said.
And 2013 is the same thing.
Well, we don't
The
have
budget
those
is-
numbers.
I have the numbers.
Okay,
And 2013 is the same thing.
okay.
2012 is the same. So take a look at it. But what I'm trying to tell you is that don't impress me by saying that there was a savings when you over budgeted. Thank you.
Great. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, good evening. Nick Calinoyo, 1455 Graham Boulevard, 402. Number one, Mr. Mayor, congratulations on the healthy financial situation of our town.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear the figures. It's nice to hear we are healthy from the financial point of view. Congratulations to you, Mr. Mueller, for 20 years serving the town. Maybe many of the people here on the council, they were not present when you started. And I remember you fought very hard with us at the time when we fought the unification, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you fought very hard to decentralize.
Right.
Congratulations again. And now to my major question. Mr. Mueller, you did try hard to have our town as a model city, and it is a kind of model city. However, for about the last 10 years, next to National Bank and between the corner where now is going to be SAC, we have a building there, was part of the Monatino project. And this little, I don't know, maybe 15 feet or 20 feet, whatever is there, the building in between the National Bank and what is going to be the SAC doesn't look at all like a model, part of the model city. It
Correct.
looks awful.
Yeah.
I passed by there many times. My question is there anything the town can do to tell to the owner to make a nice facade there, to do something instead of broken windows, broken papers and cardboards? It looks, to be
Yes,
honest,
well,
like
this
a-
building will be renovated, and
When?
the building that you're talking about will be the new SAQ.
On the corner.
No, no, the one you're talking with who is really not nice will be renovated, and that's going to be the SAQ who's going there.
To be honest, I asked the builder there, I went,
Yeah.
says we know nothing.
No, on the other building who's getting renovated right now, it's Desjardins who's going there.
I'm glad. I'm glad about that.
So you will see all renovated in the next month.
Back to my friend Mr. Mueller. You mentioned we get 0.95% for the money we have in the bank, around $20 million or so. How come I did not renew $20 million this year and last year? And I got for GICs 1.7, 1.8. I know you want to have the money cash, but for out of 20 million plus, I think you could partition it. Let's say 50 million can stay locked for a year or for 6 months, and you should get more than 0.95. What's the reason?
That interest is on a daily basis. It's on a daily basis. So you have to understand, this is the town's bank account, where it can go up and down. It's not a thing that is stable. And as we get toward, don't forget, we collect all our taxes in the first part of the year, and as we get to the end of the year, we don't have all those revenues coming in.
This
and
is your money for
so-
the year.
so-
How about the reserve fund, what you said? there?
So the problem is that it will be reduced. The other thing is, if you go out to borrow money, it's when you're talking about such low interest rates. When it comes to borrowing money, you have brokerage fees and all this sort of thing, which means that you're going to end up having less money than this 0.95%. This is I cannot recall ever since I've been on council ever having such low interest rates.
But how
And-
about the reserve fund? Okay, this is what I call it the working money cash
Well-
fund. How about the reserve fund? What we have surplus fund. What we
We're
call it?
we're using this money, so it's money you get in and get out really fast. We're trying to use that money for project in the town.
For instance, if we have this money and we can use some of that money to avoid going to the market to get some debt financing, because we can use our cash flow and this kind of money short term. That money we have in there on a daily basis goes up and down. At the end of the month, we know what it is. But
it's okay, that's what
But
do
also,
It's-
we use the money that is in the surplus, for example, that it helps us with our cash flow, that sometimes we do a project, we don't go to borrow the money right away for paying a contractor. We're able to run with our cash flow, and then we borrow the money to reimburse. So it's a matter of, we need to have access to the money.
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. Over the last 3 or 5 years, how much money we have, what we have not used, how many millions? That being part of the surplus, being part of the reserve fund, being part of whatever it is.
Well,
Based on what I hear here, not having the financial
Well-
statements, I think we have tens of millions of dollars there, maybe
Well,
around $20 millions of dollars.
I don't have
Not
this
up.
figure, this number, but we could find out and send
I'm
it to
referring
you.
to that. I think it's a lot of, but anyway,
Yeah.
I address to you.
We got the point.
Yeah, okay. May I have a copy of the minutes of the last meeting, because I thought you were here and I didn't find them. You approved the minutes of the 26th, whatever it was, 26th September,
Yeah.
21st September, sorry. You approved them, but I have not seen them.
Okay. Well,
May I have a copy of them?
We approved them tonight, they're gonna be on the website. this
tomorrow
week.
or in the next days.
This week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Kathy Ely, 157 Cornwall. My question is about number 23, renovation to the chalet.
Yeah.
There's no demolition. It's a renovation of a relatively small building that's going to cost us around $1 million.
Yes.
I'd like to know what's the status of the pool. In 1995, we were given a 15-year, the counselors were talking about the pool would be good for 15 years. We're well past that.
Yeah.
If the chalet that goes with the pool is going to receive a $1 million renovation, and we're also building an indoor pool, which I'm really happy about. This pool, the outdoor pool, is good for about 4 months a year. It's pretty old. Do we have any not statistics, but information
Yes, we
about
do.
the status of the pool? I heard the basin, something is okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole pool itself, when I asked years ago about a report on the pool, there was no report at the time. That's what I was told.
Well, I don't know if we have a report, but what our engineer are telling us is that the pool is in great shape, and we think it's going to last for a few years still. It's paid, it's there, and we intend to keep it. Even if we build the sport
Right.
complex, we want to keep our indoor pool,
But
outdoor pool.
If our outdoor pool in 1995 was given 15 years, we haven't done that much to it. It's past 2010. We're past 15.
Yeah, so we're lucky.
Well, we're lucky, but are we really? I mean, we don't know the status of the outdoor pool.
Well, we do. We know.
We know
We-
they say that it looks pretty good.
No,
I
but
mean,
we check it when there's a problem. If there's a leak, if there's a problem with the concrete or whatever, it gets repaired, and we look after it. So there is no issue that the
you're
pool-
continuing to repair it, but we
That's
Of
really
course.
don't have an assessment
But
about
there's no problem with it.
how the. Okay.
There's no problem with it, so there's no need to the Air Force scrap it and put in a new pool. The pool is fine. The building, the filtration system was replaced over
I know
the
that.
years.
Yes.
We have no trouble with it. When there's a problem, we've done some interventions, and now the problem is with the building, which is old and needs upgrading and doesn't meet the needs in size and
It just
inside
sounds
and everything.
Yeah. It just sounds like a pretty significant renovation. $1 million.
It's going to be enlarged to a certain degree as well.
Okay.
We need
Anyway.
some enlargement on it, and we have to just upgrade the whole thing, redo all of it.
Okay.
It's new
I'm just-
windows, new
I'm very
roof.
happy about the indoor pool. As you know, it's been a
Yeah.
long time coming.
Thank you. Bonsoir.
Hi, Eliana Canavaros from 1770 Rockland Road. I have a concern. The concern is one that I've called you about and spoke to you personally when it first came up, which is the signage on Côte d'Elias,
Yes.
where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can't use the right lane to turn to when there's traffic especially. And you had mentioned to me at the time that you were going to meet with the STM. I never heard back, and I see that the only saving grace was the construction where they temporarily blocked that sign. I live on Rockland. I have nowhere in Montreal, maybe it exists, but I've nowhere seen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that you can't use the right lane. And I think that TMR has the ability to intervene in this matter,
We do.
or TMR has put their hands up and said, do as you wish, and we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But I live on Rockland, and for me to sit in traffic for an hour in order to turn right is unbearable.
Okay, well, we took note of it. We already tried to reach the STM. I didn't have any answer yet, but I'll try again, and I'll make sure to have answer really soon.
This has been a long time.
I know.
Okay. I have a second issue.
Go ahead.
Second issue is that, if I understand correctly, our tax money pays for TMR security.
Yes.
And I was, this summer, standing inside my house in my front entrance when a little yellow paper came through my door, my mailbox, stating that I was fined or would be fined for my sprinkler system having
Okay.
gone off at the wrong time, which indeed it had. Nobody knocked on my door. I was standing right there. There was an error in the system, and that's why it went off. The timer needed changing. The point is that I had to lose a day to go to court for the City of Montreal because my timer had gone off and I was being fined for it, rather than somebody knocking on my door and saying, are you aware that your sprinkler's off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Well, that's what we do usually. We notice the people before finding them. So.
Well, it didn't happen, and I was standing right there, and I even called Mr.
Marata, yeah.
I called him up right away and said, I was right there. There's an error. Somebody should tell me. I didn't even know my sprinkler system was gone off. I have somebody who services it. And he says, too bad.
Well, usually we do try to notice the people. We have notice paper that we
Well, now
give.
you're aware
Yeah.
that it doesn't work.
Okay, well, we'll do a follow-up
Thank
on
you.
that too. Thank you.
Hi, London, 626 Powell.
Good evening.
Okay, couple of things. First of all, the report that you gave today on the comparing the finances of 2014, 15, and 16, you did it both in English and French, part and part, but nothing was repeated. Could I get a copy of that report all in English?
Yes.
Thank you. And the other thing is I brought to...
It will be
It's
in.
going to be in the newspaper. The whole report in English and in French
Okay,
is
that's
in
fine.
the newspaper.
That's fine.
Okay.
I've brought to the council's attention that on Lucerne, some of the proprietors of the TMR shopping center are using Lucerne as the place to put their garbage.
Okay.
And it still continues.
Okay. Well, they're
Okay.
not supposed to, so we'll do. I'll ask Madame Couch to do follow-up with this.
Have they been fined yet?
There's garbage on Lucerne by the shopping center owners. Is that what it is you're saying?
There's the different proprietors. Some of them are putting on Lucerne at the back of their, where they have a door to Lucerne, they're putting out containers of plastic and garbage, and it's sitting there.
Okay.
And it's not appropriate.
We'll check it out.
Okay. The other thing is that I noticed in last week's edition of the newspaper that normally the town, when it advertises in both languages. And there was an announcement with your signature, Eva, only in French.
Yes, because it's an advertisement for the Quebec government that I have to do by law for the dissolution of the Société du Centenaire. So it's not an advertisement, it is by law we have to put it in the newspaper to say that the Centennial Society has closed its doors. That's all that it was.
It shouldn't have been at least in both languages.
Well, the Quebec government, this is what we have to do. We have to pay for it, and it is a government requirement so that we can close up the Société du Centenaire.
Okay.
That's all it was. It's not an advertisement on anything else but legal requirement.
Mr. Verdi pointed out that it's not from the town. It's from the Centennial Society.
Okay.
So the money came from this fund. But, of course, she acts as the secretary of this society. But
okay.
we remain a bilingual city.
Good.
And our communication will keep being
Perfect.
Bilingual. No doubt.
The other thing I want to bring to your attention that you're going to the agglomeration meeting, and I think there's, again, a bunch of people consuming too much alcohol at the agglomeration level because there's $231.5 million going to be voted on at the next agglomeration meeting.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I want to bring to your attention is you did something very good, I think it was 2 years ago on Bill 14, where you and the mayors of all of the suburbs of all of the cities, major cities in Quebec, went to Quebec City to complain about the fact that Bill 14 was no good. Unfortunately, we're in a strange position. Quebec has a law which is designed to help to protect the French language. And the goal to protect the language is good. Unfortunately, the methodology being used basically discriminates against English-speaking Quebecers. And I question as to whether or not I think, or I'd like to recommend to the town that it get together with the other suburbs of all the cities and complain to Quebec to change their methodologies so that the English-speaking citizens of this province aren't being discriminated against.
Okay.
I heard from my parents that when they were young, up north there were signs that said no Negroes, Jews, or dogs allowed. We're getting the equivalent today because of the law. And I think that is totally inappropriate.
Okay.
And I would love to see that the towns get together and get Quebec, not to remove the law, but change the mechanism such that the Office de la Langue Française, which I prefer to call the language Gestapo, gets stopped from punishing people, more encouraging people.
Thank you.
Speak much more English than we speak French. I can tell you that.
Bonsoir, M. Demers.
Allô, bon, Claude Demers, 536 Dawson. Lors du Walpole Gate, là, vous savez ce qui est arrivé, Saint-Clair puis Walpole, on en a parlé pendant longtemps. Et là, à un moment donné, on a parlé de la clôture qu'il y avait là. Et on a parlé, il y a une voisine qui disait qu'il fallait que la clôture soit réglementaire, soit mettre une haie de cèdre ou devant la clôture.
Je me rappelle de ça.
C'était fait.
Ça a été fait.
Et moi, je vous ai envoyé un courriel quelques mois plus tard pour dire qu'il y a beaucoup de clôtures qui sont complètement illégales.
Oui.
Par exemple, celle qu'il y a en face du parc Mohawk, près des courts de tennis. Il n'y a rien vu qui a été fait. Puis il y en a qui sont laides, M. le maire, là, mais pas à peu près. Là. Qu'est-ce que vous allez dire à ces gens-là que ça fait 20 ans qu'ils n'ont pas de clôture, puis soudainement, il faut qu'ils en mettent une?
Il y a une question de droit acquis, évidemment. Les gens qui ont mis des clôtures avant que notre règlement change, bien, inévitablement, eux vivent le droit acquis. Mais nous, on ne remet pas en question l'idée des clôtures en bois. Ce qu'on dit, c'est que les clôtures en bois doivent être cachées habituellement par une haie ou des choses comme ça. Et on travaille fort pour ceux qui ne le font pas, de les convaincre de mettre une haie de cèdre.
Et dans notre nouveau règlement, dans notre révision de règlement, on va renforcer nuancer les clauses pour que ce soit encore plus clair et que plus facilement applicable.
Donc, celui qui est là qui a une clôture depuis longtemps, qui n'a pas une haie de cèdre devant, lui est correct, même si sa clôture est toute pourrie.
Ben, si la clôture est plus sécuritaire, c'est une chose.
Pas sécuritaire, mais
Mais
il est, là, pourri, là.
si elle est abîmée, vieillie, oui, il a ce droit-là. Et puis, on peut tenter de le sensibiliser, mais légalement, il y a un droit acquis.
Bon, OK. Alors, je vais vous envoyer des photos.
D'accord.
OK? Merci.
Merci, M. Demers. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Barbara Lapointe, 455 d'Aubie. Concernant la configuration du comité de CCU, la nouvelle configuration,
Oui.
est-ce qu'on peut me rappeler c'était quoi encore la nouvelle configuration décidée?
Oui, anciennement, il y avait 3 architectes,
Mhm.
un représentant des citoyens et un membre du conseil.
Oui.
Et là, on a élargi ces 5-là à un groupe de 7. Donc, on garde les 5 qui étaient là avant, le représentant des citoyens, 3 architectes et l'élu du conseil municipal. Et on a ajouté 2 nouveaux postes qui sont des professionnels, qui sont soit des architectes, soit des paysagistes urbanistes, soit des urbanistes.
OK.
Alors, voilà.
Puis là, on a rajouté
On a-
4 architectes.
Là, on a toute notre on est 7, là?
C'est juste...
Initialement, il y avait 3 architectes,
Mhm.
un citoyen et la présidente.
Mhm.
Donc, une composition de 5.
Oui.
Aujourd'hui, c'est une composition de 7.
Oui.
Donc, des 3 architectes qui étaient là anciennement, il y en a 2 qui ne sont plus là, un qui a été renouvelé. Ça laisse de la place pour 4 autres professionnels. Les 4 autres professionnels ont été nommés ce soir. Non.
Non, non. Non.
3 ont été nommés ce soir. Un autre avait été nommé le mois dernier.
Oui. Mhm.
Et le citoyen qui était là auparavant a été changé.
Oui.
Et le nouveau citoyen a été nommé le mois dernier.
Le nouveau professionnel, le mois dernier, c'était un urbaniste.
Oui, c'était une urbaniste.
C'est ça.
Oui.
Puis là, on n'a aucun architecte paysager qui a appliqué pour le...
Exactement.
Il n'y a personne d'architecte paysager qui a appliqué pour être juste des architectes.
Oui.
Eh bien, bon, OK, c'est ma question. Merci.
Merci.
I apologize, I'm a little late, but you mentioned the word follow-up a couple of times, and it reminded me of the last meeting we had that I requested that you think about seriously about naming the members of the CCU that attend each meeting. And you said you'd look into it, and I noticed that tonight I don't think that there's any mention of the members that are assisting at these meetings.
No.
Yeah. Well,
No.
It's, you know,
Or what, I mean, we take attendance every time. I mean, obviously, they sit around the table and we mark them down and
no,
they're
but
there.
we're not informed of the persons that are attending these meetings like we do with the city council here.
well,
You know,
it's a private meeting. This is a public meeting.
it is a committee meeting, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Why can't we be informed that
Well-
of the people that assisted?
There's no problem being informed. We could, but I don't really.
Well, it's because
We're gonna.
well, it's because,
What is the purpose of?
well, Mayor, I've mentioned this a couple of times. In the previous makeup of the CCU, there was 3 architects out of 5, 60% control. Now we have 4 architects out of 7, which makes it 60%, if not around there. And we were trying to, in all your discussions with that we had in November and January on the planning of the urbanization and so on, there was only one brief that was submitted to you that represented what the people thought about in this town. That is, we don't want the architects to have controlled vote on the CCU.
Well, I don't
meeting.
agree. I don't agree. I
Well,
think
there's-
we need architects.
No, I didn't say you don't need them. I'm just saying they have control vote. It's 4 out of 7 versus 3 out of 5 previously. Now, sorry, but the recommendation was made there, and it's like you're telling the citizens, whoosh, whoosh, votant.
No, but
why have 4 out of 7 that control?
It is an architectural committee, so I think it's quite normal that most of the people being there have an architectural expertise.
Fine, but that's not what the citizens requested.
Well, we receive, I think, 29 briefs during the
Not
consultation.
Only one was concerned and came up with the suggestions regarding the makeup, and that was from the MRMA. There was no other brief that came up and said we should have this or we should have
I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
We'll look at the briefs, okay?
Well, we had the focus group.
Well, no.
Were you in all the room? I had the report from the 6 or 7 focus groups we had.
And the summaries that I read did not pertain and say come up with and say we want.
Okay,
Anyway,
well,
but
All members
now
are
the other thing,
citizens.
the other
Mr.
thing,
Board.
why I brought this up is because there was 2 sections that were added to the new bylaws of the 1434. One was that if a person misses 2 meetings, he has to automatically resign.
yes.
So, you know, I think it's information that we would like to have. Do you people get it, the city councilors, of who attended the meetings?
Yes, we do.
You do?
Sure.
But
So why can't the citizens have it?
Well, no, because
It-
these are internal.
Exactly.
Well,
It's an internal. It's a bylaw that
It's
we
not a
have.
public document.
It's a committee.
It's not a public document.
No, but the public document you introduced it tonight. All you have to do is say, at the meeting of 26, whatever it was, present were bang, 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 and that's it. What is the problem?
Well, you're not convincing me that I think
It's transparency. It's supposed to be the sunnier days now, or whatever it is that Trudeau talked about. And it should be more transparency. There's nothing to hide. What's wrong?
there's nothing to hide.
Well, then why don't you say?
Well, and if you want to know, you can ask, and we'll send you. But
Okay.
putting it on the website each time after a meeting, I don't think it's relevant. But if some people wants to know,
Yeah.
it's public information. Ask Alexandre Verdi, and we'll send it to you.
Thank you. I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bonjour, Jean-Marc Séguin du 115 Wixty.
Bonsoir, M. Séguin.
Vous avez mentionné au début tout le travail qui a été fait dans le comité, les 18 orientations. Vous avez dit 3 choses, justement, l'aspect de la visibilité du comité. Mais les 2 autres choses, c'était les maisons surdimensionnées. Vous avez mentionné ça tout à l'heure. Puis d'avoir des règles plus strictes pour les démolitions. Puis là, je me demandais, la maison qui est au coin d'Aberdare et Trenton, surdimensionnée, qui est récemment construite, qu'est-ce que ça vient faire avec ça? Puis celle qui est sur Dumfries, au coin de Rosalind Crescent, qui a été démolie, on a ça pendant 1 mois et demi, là. Est-ce que ça a suivi la nouvelle fonction? Dans quelle mesure? Il me semble que c'est le même look de dévastation qu'avant, puis d'une grosse maison.
Dévastation.
Est-ce que dans ce cas-là, est-ce que vous pourriez me dire ce qui arrive ces 2 maisons-là?
Oui, le terme dévastation, je ne suis pas d'accord avec vous. Autant la maison qui était sur Aberdare que la maison qui était Roseland, je ne pense pas qu'on pouvait qualifier ces maisons-là de
La première,
monuments
c'est
historiques.
surdimensionné.
Oui, je vous entends. Mais là, vous me parlez de dévastation.
La
Ce
deuxième,
plan,
oui.
ce n'est pas des pertes patrimoniales, c'est des maisons qui étaient relativement en mauvais état et que la ville a permis qu'on passe à quelque chose d'un peu plus intéressant. Ça étant dit, sur Roseland, vous regarderez la grosseur du terrain, là. C'est un très, très grand terrain. Donc, on ne peut pas parler d'une maison surdimensionnée. La maison va occuper...
Elle, j'ai parlé, dans ce cas-là, c'est l'aspect démolition.
Ouais.
L'autre, c'est surdimensionné.
Pour
Vous avez mentionné ces 2 objectifs.
Ouais, pour Aberdare, moi, je ne crois pas qu'elle est...
It fits into their bylaws.
On n'a absolument rien...
Elle s'intègre bien que les autres autour.
Moi, je pense que c'est le contraire. Je pense que...
Les autres ne sont pas...
c'est pas une des rues les plus architecturalement... Il y a des rues où il y a un respect du caractère patrimonial plus élevé. Cette rue-là, peut-être moins. Et puis, ça nous permet de mettre des maisons dans ce temps-là pour essayer de donner une nouvelle lignée architecturale sur un quartier. C'est ce que le CCU a proposé. C'est ce que le propriétaire a proposé. Puis, clairement, il a convaincu les membres du CCU d'aller de l'avant avec son projet. Je ne suis pas passé devant depuis longtemps, là, mais souvent, les maisons, lorsqu'elles ne sont pas finies, ont l'air beaucoup plus grosses. Je pense qu'il faut toujours attendre qu'elle soit terminée, qu'elle soit finie pour se donner une idée. Est-ce qu'elle s'intègre bien? Est-ce qu'elle représente bien ce qu'on veut donner comme image de ce coin-là?
Puis l'autre maison, c'est un cas de démolition, non? C'était pas...
Où on parle de Roseland?
Oui. Rosalind Crescent, au coin de Dumfries, là. Est-ce que c'est dans le cadre d'une demande de démolition, amélioration? Parce qu'elle est ouverte.
C'est une rénovation.
C'est une rénovation.
Et il est à la limite des pourcentage de démolition.
Ah, OK, merci.
Merci. Il n'y a pas d'autres questions. Alors, John?
Je propose de lever les séances.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée.